One thing I've realized after 10 years of psychedelic journeying is that psychedelics are opening the door to transformation. But psychedelic integration is the catalyst to sustain the transformation and to actually shift your day-to-day life. So in this video, I want to talk about how to make psychedelic integration practical and tangible. Like, what does it actually mean to take the insight you've had in psychedelic space and apply it in your real life? And what are some of the blocks that hold us back from actually integrating our psychedelic experiences? So, hey, I'm Virgo. This is Psychedelic Actualization. I'm a psychedelic integration coach, and many coaching clients of mine, when they come out of a psychedelic experience, sometimes they're a bit confused, a bit, having this self-doubt and a bit unsure about their direction in life and about who they are. Because the psychedelics, they can shake us up. They can bring stuff from deep within to the surface. Lots of shadow material is surfacing, and new parts of ourselves are surfacing that we haven't quite been familiar with before. So, and when these parts are surfing, we're facing them in the experience itself, but what are we doing afterwards with them? And there's two sides of this, right? One is the psychedelics showed us an amazing part of ourselves, a potential version of ourselves that is so inspiring, where we're like activating all these positive characteristics, For me, sometimes it's curiosity, it's playfulness, it's being a child again, this childlike wonder and awe, and this deep sense of self-worth, of knowing that I am loved and that I am whole, right? These are the positive characteristics. And the flip side of that is more of the shadow material. These are parts of ourselves that we haven't come to love yet, that want to be loved, right? These are all the deep fears that we have, the fear of death, the fear of insanity, the fear of losing something that we love, right? It's all of this shadow material that's coming up as well that can shake us up in our identity. And what I then do with my coaching clients, in the process of the psychedelic actualization pathway, leads through identity alignment to a deeper sense of self-trust and confidence. And one way to do that is through identifying your core values. So the sequence is like that, you have the psychedelic inside, and instead of being kind of like confused or stuck afterwards in what to do with it and then paralyzed or, not in action afterwards, we move from the inside to a clear structure to momentum, to get going into the world as well. So from the inside, what we do is we extract a certain knowledge about your core values. And core values are such beautiful guiding mechanisms for our life, because core values are the things that are most important to us in life. Most important is the important part here. Not that just things that are important to us, but things that are most important to us. And sometimes what the psychedelic reveals, right, is these things that are important to us, like integrating playfulness into my life. I'm sitting here, right, in these mountains, right, and I'm just climbing these rocks, and I'm just in awe of the beauty of all of this, It's absolutely incredible. But now I'm a bit upside down, See, that's part of the playfulness. But that was only possible because I took the steps that were needed to live in integrity with my value of adventure and of playfulness. But I had to first extract that down and say that's a part of myself that I want to integrate in my life. And now I want to live in integrity with that value of adventure. So I go through the process of conceptually extracting the insight from psychedelic space and say adventure is important to me, it's one of my top values. And so now what does that actually mean for me in my daily life? and what specific action steps can I prioritize in my schedule to live in alignment with the value of adventure. And that might be different values for you. It might be truth, it might be honesty, it might be humor, it might be whatever you imagine, right? But the challenging part for most people, and especially kind of like the high performers and professionals that I work with, is that our mind comes back in again after the psychedelic journey and it says, but I think money is more important, but I think this is more important, but I think my job is more important, right? But what is it that was really important to you in the psychedelic space? See, it takes a lot of courage, a lot of clarity, and a lot of self-trust and confidence to then actually take the steps necessary to live in alignment with that value. But if you figured out that this is the value, this is your core value or one of your core values, and it's most important to you in life, then what else could be better, It's a kind of sometimes like a trade-off, You might sacrifice some money, you might sacrifice some stability or some security, but the reward of living in integrity with what's most important and with your core values is a deeper sense of fulfillment and a deeper sense of psychedelic integration. So psychedelics are opening the door for transformation. Psychedelic integration is the way in which we can sustain that transformation and turn our insight into real change in our daily life. Alright, if you would like support with that, I do offer one-on-one coaching at the moment where we walk through the psychedelic actualization pathway and identifying your core values and extracting insights from your psychedelic experience to your list of core values is one of the first steps of this process. And to have somebody there to really reflect that back with you and to hold you accountable as well, to your standards of living in alignment and of living an exciting life, being fully invested and excited about your direction in life and loving your path in full alignment and confidence, then there's a link in the video description that you can book a call with me. Beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you could take some value out of this. I just got inspired again by just climbing in these mountains, being barefoot, just exploring, just dropping all the stuff that's less important, but that I still kind of like take care of in my day-to-day, Much love to you. All the best with your psychedelic integration. I'll see you in the next one. If you're curious about a deeper masterclass on psychedelics, then you can watch this video right here next.